Hello everybody and welcome back to the Cyclones Beats YouTube channel. I recently got into the world of DJing and wanted to share the knowledge I've acquired to my little corner of the internet. So this is a basic introductory video on how to get started DJing. Let's get some groundwork out of the way first. I'm going to be using a physical controller for this tutorial. If you don't have access to one of these, then following this video will be a bit harder. You'll have to figure out how to do all the functions I talk about in your app of choice. But if you're serious about DJing, there are some very cheap and nice controllers available online. You can buy one secondhand, or you can borrow them from someone you know, like I did. This year controller is more than 15 years old, so any function of this one is going to be on the modern versions. Heck, I may be missing some compared to you. For software, as long as you have the hardware, it shouldn't really matter what you pick. I myself am using Serato DJ Pro Lite, the free version, and everything works just fine for me. This is entirely your preference. Okay, let's get started with some DJing. The first thing you need to learn is the layout of your controller. It is basically the same machine twice. The left side being used for one song and the right for another. Anything on the left side is on the right side either mirrored or on the same area, like mine, depending on the controller. The goal is to transition between these two songs as smoothly as possible using all of these other functions. So let's go through the main ones. This one is the play pause button. Pretty self-explanatory, works just like normal. Press play to play. Press pause to pause. Now, this button, the Q button, is very important. It allows you to set a point in the track, kind of like a checkpoint, and then lets you warp back to it whenever you want. To place a cue point, pause the track and hit the button. Suppose I wanted to make a cue point right here. If you want to return, all you have to do is press that button while the song is playing. Next up are these, the volume faders. This is what lets you change the volume of each track individually. It only goes up as high as this knob, the gain. Gain is just the max volume a track can have. Observe. Now, this, the crossfader, is what allows you to pick which deck you can hear. Move it to the left and the left side plays, and you can only hear the left side. Move it to the right and you can only hear the right side. Observe. The right side has started playing too, but you can't hear it. And I move it here. It's preference on whether or not you use the crossfader to move between the songs or the volume faders. You can use them as so. You can use the crossfader in the exact same way. It is your preference. This set of three knobs at the top are the channel faders or EQ knobs. They basically change the volume of specific audio frequencies. Low takes care of the bass and kick drum, mid takes care of main melody, and high takes with like hi-hats and high-pitched sound effects. Next up is this tempo slider, and we can't really talk about it without talking about key lock and sync as well. This tempo slider is basically used to change the tempo of the song. Move it up and it's slower, move it down and it's quicker. Now, what this key lock button does is very simple. It basically makes it so that no matter how fast or slow you make your song, the pitch stays the same. Watch what happens when I turn this off. See how the voice of the person changes from low pitch to high pitch? Key lock gets rid of that. It can be cool if you use this sensor off, but most times you want it on. Now this, the sync key, basically makes your song the same tempo as the other one. So my other song was 126 BPM, and this one was 130. So I hit this button, they're both the same now. Very useful for songs with similar enough tempos, but not similar enough to transition between them. I would refrain from using the tempo matching and sync too frequently on well-known songs, because on well-known songs people would know that something is being messed with. Now we need to talk about the elephant in the room. These DJ turntables. I've been using them throughout the video. While they are the most iconic part of the DJ setup, I'm gonna be honest, you aren't gonna be using them a whole lot. I mainly just use them to scrub through songs when I am practicing or during the actual performance. While it's on mute, of course. This can sound pretty ugly sometimes. You can still do the little, but most times you're not gonna be using this thing. Alright, with all that out of the way, let's mix something together. The two songs we'll be mixing are linked in the description below. To make this easier for you, it's important to understand this very basic rule. It's called the rule of 32. It posits that most modern songs are built in blocks of 32 beats, called phrases, sort of like the building blocks that make up the track structure. Significant changes in a song, when songs are taken or added, will typically happen at the start of these 32 beat blocks. You can try it yourself right now. I'm gonna play this song and you're gonna count with me to 32 and we'll see what happens. Ready? Let's go. 5, 6, 7, 8, 13, 14, 15, 16, 21, 22, 23, 24, 29, 30, 31, 32. You see how the tone of the song changed after 32 beats? That's what phrases are. Next, when transitioning between songs, knowing song structure is very important. Typically speaking, most modern songs have an intro, a build-up, and then a drop. They can repeat the structure multiple times throughout the song. They can change the lengths of some sections around, but that's the main foundation most songs are built off of. At the end of the last drop of a song, there's typically a set of outro beats that consists of just percussion to wind the song down. Most beginner DJs start playing the next song around this time. But you aren't most DJs, are you? This is what I mean by the outro beats, by the way. It's just drums and it's quite boring for the audience to listen to. Now let's try doing it the normal way, where we start playing the next song on these outro beats. That's when the song starts picking up. But do you notice how for a long time there's just a lull with only percussion playing? That will leave the audience disinterested, and that is a DJ's worst nightmare. We have to make sure that the significant sounds of the next song start as soon as the significant sounds of the first song end. But here's the thing. If we know our songs, we can make it so that lull is completely gone by just doing a bit of simple math. Counting through this chorus, we can see that the chorus lasts for 2 phrases or 64 beats. Let's try counting together. Phrase 2. That's when it ends. But if we go through this first song, we notice that the intro only lasts for 1 phrase. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, go. Since this one is only 1 phrase and the first one is 2 phrases, if we just start playing the new song halfway through the final drop of the old song, they should sync up perfectly to create a seamless blend. So let's try that one out, shall we? A 3, a 2, a 1. You see how all of that waiting is cut out and yet the transition is still almost imperceptible? That is the end goal of a DJ. You have just learned how to beat match. Congratulations! That's going to be wrapping up this fun introductory video into DJing. If you found this interesting, make sure to drop a like and subscribe and go forth on the rest of your DJ journey. I'm still a beginner, so I'll be learning myself too. I'll see you when I see ya. Peace.